baby, I have to take a sip of something. It's just cream soda. Anyway, I had to take a sip of something because I'm on a video recording marathon. So what I do is I dedicate one Sunday in a month where I just think of all the video ideas that I have, and then I sit down and I record all the videos. I do this so that I can edit the videos at my own pace, and also so that it does not interfere with my day-to-day life that brings me the bread and the butter and the juice. Okay, so I think today I recorded about 5 or 6 videos, so I'm now a little bit tired. So yeah, I'm just going to record this one and probably just one more, and then I'll be done for the day. So hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maud Chifamba. If you're new here, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, yes, I am very thankful for you. If you are a new returning viewer that's not subscribed, Sisi Kanabuti and Itadiko Komadi and you must subscriber. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you're notified every time something comes live on content on my channel. My name is Maud, as I've said, and probably the name of the channel has told you. I'm a chartered accountant living in Zimbabwe, and all I do is I sit down on the floor and I talk to you guys about my journey being a CA, and just offer some information just for information purposes and to just help the next person who might be needing this information, sort of as a mentorship. I appreciate that I have a lot of mentors, so information is easy for me to come by, but it might not be easy for the next person who probably does not even know any chartered accountant in their life. The Institute of Chartered Accountant says there's only about 935 CAs in Zim, and I'm being the CA that is accessible to you guys to ask your questions. So please, if you have any questions, you can type down in the comment section below. I love that because it increases the chances of this video being suggested to other people like you on the algorithm. But if you're too shy to write in the comment section, please do drop me an email on careerswithmod@gmail.com, and then I'll attend to your question. I think I will set aside Wednesdays to just work on Careers with Mod, which is the editing of these videos and just replying to the emails. So if I don't reply to you on a Wednesday, please know that by the next Wednesday I would have responded to you. Anyway, back to today's business. A lot of people ask, a lot of accounting students really want to do to go and work at the big 4 firms for their articles, and I know that a lot of people who have qualified in audit here have gone out of Zim to work, and this is usually in the form of going to work in audit out of Zim. So people that go to work in audit out of Zim also do interviews with big 4 firms. So I just wanted to bunch up all these groups, people from high school or degree that are looking to go into an audit firm, and people that are in an audit firm in Zim and interviewing or doing interviews with audit firms out of Zim, big 4 firms out of Zim, to just give you tips. I and my boyfriend pride ourselves on the fact that we've never failed an interview. Whatever I've interviewed for, I have gotten. So I would think that my interview game is on point, and I just wanted to give you guys just a sneak peek into that. I've gotten 2 jobs from big 4 firms out of Zim and declined one. I don't know if I'm going to decline the other one. Please stay tuned on the channel to just learn about it, and then also to see how that is going to go or how it went. And then also I've had interviews within Zim and got another job. So, and I worked at an accounting firm, so which means I went through an interview process. So I'm just going to let you know a little bit of tips. Anyway, enough of this long ass introduction. Let's just get into the video. The first thing is about how to get one. So I know that this is a big question for people that are coming from high school who just know that there's KPMG, EY, Deloitte, and PwC, and they really don't know how to approach these firms for interviews. So please, the other part is please just follow my Instagram, my LinkedIn. And on my LinkedIn, I always post whenever I come across opportunities or firms that are just, if these firms are interviewing or are looking for people. I know that recently I posted about PwC wanting people for articles. So yeah, please follow my LinkedIn, because it tends to be in these circles where these things get advertised, and I can then always put it on my LinkedIn for you because you're not in those cycles. Okay. And then also just be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very useful tool for looking for a job. I found the second job, I told you I got a job at a Big Four, which I declined. I got that through LinkedIn. I know that Deloitte was hiring audit seniors, and that was on LinkedIn. So a lot of companies are embracing LinkedIn, and I know a couple of people that have gotten jobs on via LinkedIn. So please just use LinkedIn. A lot of people are embracing LinkedIn as a way of finding talent. So yeah, please do that. Then also make sure that whatever you're sending is good enough. So I've seen a lot of people from high school give me their CVs, and you have a 5 pages long CV. I am a chartered accountant. I have a master's in accounting. I became a lecturer. I was an audit senior. I'm a technical manager. My CV is 2 pages long at most. Now, you are just fresh from high school. Why do you have 5 pages of a CV? Who has time to go through your 5 pages, Budi or Sisi? Who? Tell me who? Please, if you have done your CV, please make sure you give it to someone else to just review. The other things that are not necessary on a CV, you give me your ID number on your CV. Why do I need it? Why? So please make sure that when you do your CV, if you're in high school, make sure you get someone to just review your CV. On attachment, make sure you just get someone to just give you thoughts on your CV. And of course, you can't give it to like your peer, but sometimes even peer reviews will point out some of these things. If you're applying for Big Four firms out of Zim, they have so if you go through Gap Talent, for example, they have a template of a CV where you just go and you fill in things from blanks that they had already created for you, or you can just go and put your CV on LinkedIn, like fill in those things and extract a CV from LinkedIn. But I also even used this guy, Hard Life Muhamba, comes highly recommended. He makes very beautiful CVs, and you just give him like the length you want, the things you want highlighted in your CV, depending on what is the job that you want, which is also another second point on your CV. You don't use one blanket CVs, guys, especially those people applying for jobs after they have a little bit of experience. So your CV tells the person who's looking at it who you are and what you do. But my boyfriends need to know that I'm pretty and whatever, but my boss doesn't need to know that I'm pretty. So the CV I sent to my boyfriend is different from the CV that I sent to my boss. My brother needs to know I'm fine. He doesn't care whether I'm pretty, as long as I'm okay, I'm healthy. So the CV I sent, the story that I tell my brother about myself is different from the story that I'm telling whoever. So that's the same thing with these employers. You don't have to have a blanket CV. It could be one template, right? But for every job that you now want to apply, make sure you tweak it to make sure that it speaks directly to the job and that you're the one who will be chosen, because the CV is the first interface that the company is having with you before you come to defend yourself in the interview. So you want to make sure that you highlight the things that the company cares for the most in your CVs. Now, this cannot be the same across all firms, across all Big Four firms. So make sure that you make your CV talk to what the particular firm you're applying to cares about and wants. Right, that's the first one. Now, the second thing that I'm going to talk about is to research the firm. Now, I've noticed that all audit firms, the Big Four firms, they are, if you come to Zim, the biggest firm is, I'd like to believe, Deloitte by clients and stuff. I would like to believe it's Deloitte. If you go to the UK, the biggest firm is PwC. If you go to America, the biggest firm might be different. If you go to South Africa, the biggest firm of the Big Four is different. What does this say? The big four firms are essentially the same. They're just different colors and names, but they're essentially the same. And save for one thing, which is the culture. I think I will do a video separately of the big four firms the same separately, and we can talk about it. But the big four firms are the same. They care about the same thing. They care about audits and whatever. Of course, different methodologies, but if it's ISA 315, it's ISA 315 Navi. Whether you're at PwC, whether you're at Deloitte, whether you're at EY, whether you're at KPMG, and ISA is an ISA, right? So what I'm saying is research what that firm cares about. So Deloitte says its motto is making an impact that matters. This speaks to its culture. PwC has a different motto. EY has a different motto. KPMG has a different motto. You can find these all over the internet. So research that firm, research what is their culture, and research why you think you will fit into that culture, because that question is going to come definitely, and it's going to come. I will talk about it in another tip. It's embedded in another tip, but please make sure that before you do an interview, you have researched the firm. What is it that makes it different? It's definitely not audit. It's definitely not consulting, because they're essentially the same. So what makes it different? You can research this over with the internet. Now information is everywhere, but you can also even use people that are working at these firms to say, oh, what is the culture? What does this firm care about? Whether you're coming from high school or you're coming after being done with another firm and you want to go into to this big four firm, whether it's Zim or not, this is very important. It shows also that you've done your homework. Now also have a good knowledge for your level in terms of the technical. This is your money maker, my friend. Your money maker, right? Because no matter how decorated you are, no matter you being A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Z, if you don't know how to audit, if you don't have technical of accounting standards, the firm has no use for you, my friend. Right? So make sure that you have good knowledge for your level, for what the firm expects of you. So if you're coming from high school, make sure you also have a little bit of knowledge of accounting. Is it business studies? Because they're going to throw in, it's not going to be too technical as probably when you're coming from ITC, but it's going to be technical at some level. You are going to have to prove to us that if you don't know, at least prove to us that you can learn. So, by having a good knowledge for your level, I mean, if you're coming in as a senior and you have put in on your CV that you audited PPE, please make sure that you don't go into that interview not knowing how you audited PPE. Research, brush up your knowledge if you need to do so. Right. Next thing is try to anticipate some obvious questions. So, for example, if you're going for an interview at PwC or at EY, they're definitely going to ask you why EY. This is coming in from research the firm. So have an answer, not say I just want to come to Deloitte because Deloitte says Deloitte is an audit firm. No, they're not asking why come to an audit firm. They're asking why come to them specifically. You need to have a good answer. You see, you have an answer that's not general. You have an answer why you think you will fit into the firm. You have an answer why you think the firm speaks or its culture speaks to you. Why not? So when they're asking you, for example, why EY, they're trying to say, why EY? Why not PwC? Why not Deloitte? You might go for 4 different interviews at all these firms. You must have an answer of why EY, not PwC. And then at PwC, you're going to have an answer of why PwC, not EY, right? So you need to try to anticipate some of the questions. Some questions are very obvious. So you need to try to anticipate some of those questions and have good answers of how this fits into your goals and how the firm fits into your goals, your character, and what you seek to achieve and what is important to you. And also what you need to also think through what are your expectations for the role. Like, for example, if you're interviewing for assistant manager or for audit senior, what are your expectations of the role, and how does the firm come into these your anticipations and your expectations? Now, on number 5, we're going to talk about soft skills that portray confidence. You're going to need to brush up on this. So, for example, what are you going to wear? You don't want to go there looking like a random. You need to give the Big Four the respect that the Big Four deserves, right? You need to go there, you need to make eye contact, speak to the person. I had someone say I was not confident because I was not looking at them. It was on Teams, and I was not looking into the camera, I was looking into their face, but it portrayed to them that I was not confident because I was not looking directly at the camera. So even if it's on Teams, eye contact is very important. Look into the person, okay? Look into their eyes, portray your points with confidence. Then you have if it's in person, your handshake. How do you shake someone's hand? Are you just going to shake them or are you going to shake them firmly, like a person who is confident in what it is that they are doing? We also need to work on your arms, and those sort of portray that you are. No, there's no wrong with stuttering if you naturally have a stutter. But what I mean is, you've been talking about everything like yeah, and then all of a sudden it's a technical question. Now you have your arms and whatnot, and sometimes even this blank stare comes. Like you're just like thinking. Even when you're thinking, you need to make sure you practice this. Even when you're thinking, do not convey the message of a blank stare and gap fillers. Yes, you need to make sure to work on your gap fillers. Join a club, Toastmasters, for example, and learn how to speak. This is applying to whether you're coming from university, whether you're coming from the Big Four already, or you're coming from high school. Your gap fillers, make sure they are on point and they do not portray that you're not confident or you don't know what you're talking about. But also make sure that you are not arrogant. People can smell arrogance from a mile away. Make sure that you're portraying that you're confident, but you also want them to perceive you nicely. You care about how they perceive you. This means so much to you, so that at least you portray to them that you are confident, but you're also very interested in the job. You're very interested in whatever you're interviewing for, right? And then be passionate about something, guys, which is number 6. Be passionate about something. Make sure that when you tell your story is not talking about you being a timekeeper, you being a BCD, your story is not all over the place. Your story needs to have a bit of straight. It needs to not be all over the place. Refer to tangible work experience in your answers. Like, for example, what is your leadership style? Refer to tangible work experience. Ensure that try to tell a story through your answers. Let them reflect that you're passionate about something. Now, it's not my job to find for you what you're passionate about, but please make sure that you're passionate about something. I think that you being passionate about something means you can bring value to the company, and that is very invaluable. Oh my God, such a punchline! Bang! In your face. Right. And then the other thing, point number 7, is know your weaknesses. So by knowing your weaknesses, you're not going to go to the whole team or recruiting whatever and say, you know what, I'm not punctual. You being able to communicate your weaknesses communicates that you are self-aware. You know yourself, you know your weaknesses, you want to be a better person, you are self-aware. So most of the Big Four firms will ask you, what do you think are your weaknesses that are going to make it hard for you to fit into this role? What do you think are your weaknesses for this? What do you think are your weaknesses? Don't try to think of your weaknesses on the spot. Make sure you go into that interview knowing what your weaknesses are and having a plan with demonstrable evidence that you are working on that. Now, if you're already within the firm, we have those performance evaluation schemes that we used to have, and they would always tell us what are your development points, and you'd always come up with your manager on a plan on how do you address this. Take one and run with that. Of course, don't take the lethal one that will make it very difficult for you to do your job, but take one of those and run with it. Whenever they ask you what do you think are your weaknesses, pull it out, because you're human, you're bound to have weaknesses. You're not perfect, and nobody expects anyone to be perfect. Otherwise, the person who tells you they're perfect are lying. So no one is perfect, but what they want to know is, are you aware that you have this weakness here? And are you making a proactive plan to make sure that these weaknesses don't stay as weaknesses forever? We're always growing, we're on a journey, so that's what they want to see. So even when you're coming from high school, sit down with yourself, find out what are your weaknesses and talk about those. Then ask something at the end. Have a question. It doesn't have to be the blockbuster of a question. It just have to be something that makes sense. And even if it's about, so when can I expect to hear back from you? I think that question explains that you respect timelines. You also want to give them timeline on how are you going to come back to me, and you care about this job really. So ask something, even if it's when can I hear back from you. Then have people skills. You're not going to be interviewed by a robot unless this firm is different. So whether you come from high school or you're interviewing for an audit senior, have people skills. All the interviews that I've done, I have come out of that interview knowing what that person does, what has been their journey, where did they go to school, what audit experience do they have, how was their journey like. And it also helps you on how to answer some of the questions that they ask, because sometimes it's reflective of their journey and the person that they are. So make sure that you work on your people skills, make conversations, talk to them, ask about the weather, ask about COVID, ask about riots in SA, if it's SA riots. Just have those people skills. That's how you start working on them. If you're coming from high school, if you're coming from the Big Four already, or any other audit firm, and you want to go into the Big Four firm, I would expect you to have them already, because also these skills help in you performing your audit anyway. You need to talk to our clients nicely, you need to deliver to our clients nicely and on time. So I think that conveying to the interviewer that you already have these skills is a big plus for you. Then the last thing I'm going to talk to, and this is going to be specific to Zimbabweans, make sure you have backup electricity if you're using a fridge of a laptop. Fridge of a laptop is that laptop that does not have a very good battery. So make sure you have backup electricity and that you have a good internet connection. This might mean that you have your Zoho and your Internet on standby, because I've had situations where I think the only interview that I actually failed at some point was because my laptop started misbehaving, and then I gave up on doing it another time. I was just like, you know what, maybe this is God saying it's not possible. But don't be your own God by not making a plan of getting backup electricity and a backup internet connection, or else anyway guys, my laptop's about to die, which is where I'd written all this, but I'm glad that I've given you 10 tips on how to ace your Big Four interview. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comments section, and I will try and respond to that. Or if you have any questions, please hit me up on my email. Don't forget to subscribe. Otherwise, thank you so much, and see you in the next video.